There you go. Now today I'm chasing kahawai, but a little bit different. I want to try fly fishing for kahawai. I'm using a really light 2-pound trace of a fly rod, and gonna just flick it out and see how I go. I'm also going to tow a lure around, but I'm going to tow a trout lure around. I'll show you what it is. It's a classic one that a lot of you guys at Trout Fish will use. It's a Toby, and there are many different types of Tobies. It's this one here today. There's more than one way to skin a cat. There's more than one way to catch a fish. Generally it's 2 to 3 pulls and she goes. A bit of choke and a bit of that, and put the choke back in. How about that? And we're into it. Doesn't really get any easier. We got a small fish just hit us now, not a big one by any means, on the trout lure, and it's coming in pretty fast. As you can see, I'm winding, it also gets a tide. Not a big fish, just a tiny fish, still on there, and he's off there. We just let him go, just a wee fish. So a wee fish did take that just then. I've got the anchor down, and there's a few very small fish just feeding off this point here. So we'll put this trout lure in. You can see them jump. So I'll put this trout lure in and see if they're going to take that. There could be some bigger fish underneath them. You can see some small ones rising right now. I got a wee hit just then. There we go, we're on, and it's a wee one. Just what I was expecting on the trout lure. So that's interesting. We might be able to get fish on the fly line, but this is not a big fish. Again, small like the last one that was coming in quite fast. There he goes, on the little trout lure. And that there is the first one on the trout lure. I know he's good enough to survive another day. Good luck to throw the first one back. It's an old mouldy tradition. This is what I want. Something small and silver. We'll take off our trout lure. Reasonably easy. Shorten that up. Going to do just a standard fisherman's knot here. You guys know the one. 7 twists. Go through there and double up. And make it tight. And trim the end. And that will catch fish relatively quickly and relatively easily. There's a lot of seaweed floating out here. I don't want to catch that. Okay, we'll just go across over here, and I'd expect to get a hit relatively quick. A lot of seaweed coming down here. Doing 5 knots. There we go, and we're on. Just another small one again. Just make sure that's hooked in properly. That's even smaller than the last one. There's small fish out here today. Small fish indeed. Here he comes. We'll put him back in. Bigger for another day. Righto, we know that there's fish out there. Let's set up the fly rod and see how that's going to pan out. I went trout fishing last night and I went to find my fly rod and I couldn't find it, and then I remembered I gave it to my son. So I went down to Coppins in Mottawake and I bought this very cheap combo Chinese, made in China, fly rod. And sometimes cheap Chinese stuff can be just okay. Haven't caught a fish on it yet, but for the price I paid, it came with the reel, it came with the backing line, it came with the string. That's the wrong way around, you clown clay. Get it round the right way. Geez mate, you should probably put your undies on backwards this morning too. And it's very cheap. You could never buy a fly rod and a combo for what I paid all this. I think it was a couple $100, maybe 300 all up, and that included the line on it as well. The only thing I had to put on there was the trace, which I put on last night. And I've got a very short 5-foot trace, only a short one. So I was given all of these by one of my good bastard patrons. I think it was Darren H or maybe Mason, I'm not sure which one. And also these. And these are a bit of a mishmash of things, but I can see in there something which might be good. It's a little wet fly, I believe it's a wet fly, and it's got a couple of eyes on it there. So we're going to poke that on and see how we get on for catching a kahawai. There we have it. As the Germans say, Schneidentight. Right. How does it look in the water? Well, there it goes in the water there. Okay. Oh, this is the first. Don't want to catch a seabird. The beauty of this is the river's taking it down, or the flow of the inlet's taking it down. Oh, I think we got a strike. Yes, we got one on. Is he still on? I'm winding. He's not a big fish, but it's making a lot of fun. I think this could be the first time in history I've caught a fish on a fly line in the sea. Yes, it's a tiny wee one too. There he goes, coming in. There we have it. Well, we haven't got him in the boat yet. Just a wee one. That's a history. Bit of history there, guys and girls. We've done it. We've caught one on a fly. It's the first time. So if you can catch a small fish on a fly, you can definitely catch a big one. I'll put in another couple more casts out there and see how we go. But I think the size of today is going to be all around about this size. The wind's come up a little bit now, making it a wee bit harder. Oh, we're on. We're on, there you are. And it could be a bit bigger. That's good, that was quick. That's more like it. Might be one that we can keep for the smoker. Could be, yeah. Not a big fish, they feel bigger on the fly line. A lot more fun than using a standard rod. The old fly rod is way more fun. Because I've only got a 2 pound trace. It goes down to 2 pounds, so you've got to keep the pressure just so it's not going to break. Not a big fish, but actually working out to be quite good. Quite good indeed. We're going to get him out. That tiny wee hook. Here we go. There he comes. Bigger than the last one, but not that big. Right, we'll put this guy back in the water. You're going to go back in, mate? There you go. Woohoo! Oh, that was a reasonably good one. He got off. The wind is making it hard to cast it where I want to cast. There we go. Back on again. Well, that's a bit better. I was just about to say I'm struggling to fish in this wind, but that's a little bit bigger. Not a big fish by any means, but it might be big enough to keep for the smoker. Coming in. I'm aware I've only got like a 2 pound trace on this, so he's applying a bit of pressure. Just another wee one. Oh, they come on this pretty good. Single hook. There he goes. On the fly. Well, we're going to put this guy back in the sea. But the fly rod is actually very productive. It's still catching them. Not big fish, but this guy I'm pulling in pretty quick, and it's just a bit different way to fishing. As you can see, I've stopped using my reel, and this guy's possibly a little bit bigger than what I have been catching, but still not a big one. Here he goes, trying to stay on the bottom. We'll get him up soon enough. There's definitely a lot of play in this rod. Oh, they fight though, don't they? They really do fight. Look at him fighting. Absolutely fighting fish, but not a big guy by any means. There we go. He's actually swallowed that right down inside his mouth, that one. We'll put him back in the sea though. I've worked out the magic formula, how to catch him, and everyone that hits me gives me a big surprise, but they are just not that big a fish. Oh, he's rising. It's a bit like trout fishing, but you're catching fish all the time, and it's a little bit different. I've worked out the method to where they are, where they're feeding, and how to get my line there, and I'm getting a strike every time now, but I'm releasing all the fish because none of them are really that big. But it's a lot of fun and good value for money, and surprisingly a lot of them don't come off, even with that little single hook. This guy doesn't want to come up. He's holding on for dear life. And they're all about the same size. Yeah, you'll go back in the ocean, buddy. I've got to say, fishing with a fly line for kahawai is twice as much fun easily as it is fishing with a normal thread line. It's a first for me. I've never done it, and I will be doing it again, but the wind has just come up too much for me to get my placement right. I can still let it go off the end in a straight line, but I'd rather target the fish and hunt them. I can see them working right out over here around me, occasionally coming up, so I like the idea of hunting the fish and doing my placement right where my actual fish is in the water. There's fish out there right now. I've got a chance of getting a hit. It's a bit hit and miss just fishing off the back of the boat. Right now I'm putting my line where I want to be, so it increases my odds of getting a hit. And there's a hit right there, as I said that, and we're on. As quick as that. And that's the difference. Still only catching those small fish though. I must have let go probably, I don't know, maybe 10 so far. It'd be nice to catch something a bit bigger for the smoker, but so far they're all these little wee guys, this size here. Oh, that one won't be being released. That guy he's taken all three in. So he'll be going into the bin for bait. Hey team, that's my video on catching kahawai using a fly rod and a wet fly. I really enjoyed that. I'd say give it a crack yourself, particularly if you're a trout fisherman, you'll bloody love it. It's like catching a trout on pea. It's good fun. Good luck with your own fishing, and be good. At least try and be good, and if you can't be good, be careful. I'll see you next video. See you later.